Lesson 2.1, we started talking about complex numbers, okay? And so we talked about that I, the imaginary number I, is equal to the square root of -1. And so what you have to do in number 8 is we need to simplify the square root of -216. Well, one of the issues is if you type that in the calculator as is, you're going to get an error because your calculator cannot calculate a negative underneath of the square root. So what we need to do is we first need to just break this up and say, well, couldn't I write that as -1 times 216? Yeah, it's the same thing, okay? And then if I rewrite that, going backwards with how we put radicals together when multiplying, I can break up the -1 and the 216 into their own radicals, okay? Because if you remember, side note down here, if I have 7 times 2 square root 5 like this, square root of 7, we multiply the outsides together, get a 2, multiply the insides, get a 35, that type of thing. Well, all we're doing is instead of going forwards here, we're actually going to go backwards, okay? And then I'm just going to substitute in. Then square root of -1 is equal to I, and then I have the square root of 216. Well, now I need to actually see, can I break 216 down? And I'm pretty sure that I can. So let me go ahead and do that math. I'm going to pause the video. Okay, and when I broke 216 down, I did 4 and 54, 2 and 2, 6 and 9, 2, 3, 3 and 3. Okay, so my factors ended up being these guys. And then I go through and circle my groups of 2. Okay, and what happens is I pull a 2 and a 3 out to the outside. And there's already an I there, and I put them together through the multiplication, so it'll be 6I. And then there is a square root of 6 left underneath because there was a 2 left over and a 3 left over. Okay? So what is this all saying? What this is saying, okay, and let me change my color here, is that this original radical that we started with is equivalent to this answer. And how do I check it? Well, to check it, you'd have to check the positive square root of 216 and see if that equals 6 square root 6. Because again, your calculator, it won't do the negative underneath up here. Okay, it will do the I. It'll just tell you that it equals whatever the decimal is with an I at the end. Okay, but it won't check the negative underneath. So if we pull that out and pretend like the I is kind of missing, check the math here. If it's okay, then you just make sure you keep the I and you know your answer's right.